Yeah, we're good. All right, here we go. And we've returned from our break. We continue with where we left off. Bo?
So the party descends from the Fate Six, the remaining members, Stanley, Hope, and Nash. And they sit in a circle around the campfire that the principal has created as he chews on his nuts and bolts stir fry. The rocket ship continues to vent exhaust in the background, and you sort of see this scene of smoldering lava in various directions, the campfire, the party around the campfire, the rocket ship, and the Fate 6 landed just beyond in the distance a little bit. The principal's silent and contemplative as everyone takes their seats.
So, Vlad, talk. What do you know? What's your plan? How do we go about doing this?
Yes.
No. Why is it wet sounding? Nothing you're eating is wet.
It's sprinkled with oil. I used motor oil as a means to fry the nuts and bolts. But pertaining to the beast, I have had, before their untimely demise, the Dragon Sons research what they could. I've downloaded their data into my knowledge base. The Worldbreaker, the beast summoned by TWBD, is a creature called a Tarask, rare and from other planes of existence, brought to the prime material as war machines. Their size and power is without match. Our chances for success are quite low. It is capable of evading magical effects through its natural carapace. It is able to resist magical spells in a way not known to any other entity on the prime material. It is large and claws with its hands and impales with its horns and whips with its tails. Its countenance is fearful, and in the hearts of the unready will cause them to cower in fear. Finally, the Tarask can swallow villages whole into its stomach, where it digests these creatures. My understanding is that this is not the first great beast that the heroes of the wastes have fought before, but it will certainly be your most formidable. We have some environmental concerns as well, namely the vast lake of lava that we will have to fight. I have brought a solution for this. Hope. You are the most vehicularly savvy amongst the group, yes?
Yes.
I brought us some tools. Go check my rocket ship and see what you find.
Hope we'll go to the rocket ship and check it out.
Okay, so you get up and walk towards the rocket ship. There's a little ramp leading to the door. The door detects your presence and whooshes open. And as you look inside, you see one large spherical room, lots of control panels and screens, a large chair for a rocket man to be strapped in, essentially, in the middle. And off to the side, leaning on one side of the rocket ship, are these large metal surfboards. And these surfboards have, underpinning it seems to have these large engines towards the back, very mechanical, looking very technical. As you move to even just sort of lift one up to see the weight, it is quite heavy. You hear the principal call after,
Yes, bring one out, Hope. Show the team what we will be using.
Hope will attempt to bring one out.
Okay. With all of your strength, every muscle flexing, you lift up the board capably, and you walk out with it down the ramp and back to the group.
It's like what that... Didn't that spaceman have this? The one that wanted the sand burger?
I do not know who you speak of, but these were created and engineered by our finest minds as an assault vehicle for our elite Koromukishi. However, they will not be needed by them. We will use them. Lay it flat and press the pedal.
Hope's totally into this. She's trying to pretend not to be into it, but she's really into this thing. So she will.
So you lay the board down flat and you step upon it where you naturally think it should go, and you see that there are various buttons. There are pedals on the floorboard of the surfboard, and as you push the big one, you hear and you begin to hover. It produces a bit of exhaust sound, like a as the surfboard lifts off the ground and makes this like whooping sound, like, and Hope floats above the ground. And you can feel that you can kind of make turns by carving like a skateboard, leaning forward or leaning back. You can kind of, and that's how you would conduct your turns, would be by leaning like on a skateboard. And you start to float above.
She'll try and take it in a circle around the group. Really trying not to smile at this point.
What these buttons might do in experimenting, you see that one of it is basically an accelerator, and you can kind of click it into gear, and then you move your foot over, and you're able to, get into first gear speed, and you start floating around, and everyone sees Hope make a little loop in front of them as she flies around, and part of your loop goes over a little vein of lava and crag in the ground, and you feel no change based on elevation. So this thing works independent of elevation, it would seem. And the principal speaks out.
Yes, since the terrain will be difficult, we will have to fight it by air. This is also why I brought my bow. Ranged weapon and magic will be best to begin disabling and cutting through its defenses. We will have to fight it this way. It moves too fast for stationary combat like your foes in the past. Apart from that, I ask you to help me concoct a strategy in which to weaken it or disable it somehow. If we pose enough of a threat, it will focus its attention on us, and we can use that to our advantage. Any ideas on what we can do with these surfboards?
So far, my greatest strategy has been to be eaten in some way and begin hacking at the innards. I volunteer.
One second. Okay.
A formidable plan, however. This creature is capable of great regurgitation. While many creatures succumb to attack from the innards, this creature, it is a known defense that it is weak from the inside. You may have difficulty finding a way to maintain an internal tactical point. But perhaps as we weaken it towards the end, we make this move.
Does the ship have any weaponry? The Fate 6, Dad's boat?
I don't think it does, right? There's no cannons on it. There are always cannons on other ships that we used, right?
It does have the arcane ballistas on the bow.
Oh, nice.
So yes, it does. It has the arcane ballistas, and that's about it, though.
So we could take these onto the ship, attack it with the ship until it weakens, and then go in.
How do we get it out of the lava?
Given the size of the lake, we may not be able to. It will need to chase us, but do not underestimate its speed based on its side. It's as fast as any assassin. This is not a slow creature. And I do worry about your Fate 6. I know that Delete has used his understanding of artifice to program redundancies into its magics, so it being destroyed is no great loss, but it will not last long or be as evasive as these wind boards will be in dodging attacks. I fear that ship will not last long against the Tarrasque.
Well, then we simply need to make the ship the less interesting target. Maybe we start on the boards, and it simply adds additional aid from the air.
That could be, yes. Or, you position it and it does not attack until the time is right, at which point it can release its barrage from the arcane ballista.
I have a question. You made me try to turn into a dragon earlier, and it didn't work, but I kind of started to do something. What does it take for me to realize whatever that full thing is so I can have that in whatever fight we're going to have?
If we still had access to my laboratories, we could determine the nature of your impediment, but likely what is holding you back is your greatest fear. This is a struggle from within. Perhaps the Elendari can help you with your psychological roadblock.
Fair enough.
What's your greatest fear, Nash?
Probably the safety of my family. At least that's what my fear would be now. I think it's changed.
Are you afraid that your monstrous side will destroy everyone you love?
I'm more afraid that you'll screw us and kill them.
I speak from experience. I have had to sacrifice much of myself to attain what I have attained. And with the knowledge that I have some kind of progeny, I am feeling feelings. A strange and distant phenomenon lost many centuries ago. I too fear losing my will. It feels like weakness to have those you care about in the face of battling gods. But you have magics. What magics do you and Stanley offer as part of our tactics? Certainly you must have something to offer here.
Well, in light of the massiveness of this creature, I don't know how much I have to offer. That's why I asked about my form, if I could do something there. But I've got, all my spells. I could tell him all my spells.
Yeah, but do you have any spells, like Stanley said he had the polymorph plan? Throw him
Yeah.
into a snail, throw him into Pendelweiss, maybe throw him into the sun or something. I don't know. So do you have anything that your spells can do to offer tactically as part of this problem solving?
Well, we could go with the old favorite and shrink him in half. If that does anybody any good. Or blow somebody up twice as big. But it seems like the bigger the target, the more we would want that thing to go small. Unless he's resistant to such things. I don't know.
He
Sounds
does
like
have
it's
high.
resistant.
He does have high magical resistance, so you might have to plan on trying a couple times, weakening in some way. So you've encountered enough legendary enemies to understand that the legendary resistance mechanic is a thing in 5e D&D. So usually you got to burn some spells to burn the resistances. So that likely is a factor here. It could be something you and Stanley both coordinate together as part of your tactics, understanding that he's resistance and has high defenses versus magic. But you don't necessarily have to target the creature directly to make use of spells. If you have anything that is even useful, you might just have all damage dealing spells.
It's a lot of damage stuff, but does he have anything? He's not in he's not in any sort of containment, right? There's not something he's inside of that's holding him, or like a cave
you haven't made any visual contact.
So we don't know any of that yet.
You don't know that information.
Yeah, I mean, nothing. I don't have anything I could just jump out and go, oh yeah, I've got the perfect strategy for taking on a Tarrasque I don't know anything about.
Yeah, you have a lot of straight up just damage dealing spells. So,
Yeah. I mean, I've got Banish, I've got some other stuff, but they're not going to help us in this case. I mean, Banishment will just temporarily get rid of him anyway. I can reverse gravity. I don't know if that'll work in congruence with something else. Make him fall into something big.
Is there a DC on that, or?
Dex 18.
Oh, okay, so it's not a...
For which spell, sorry?
For reverse gravity, 7th level.
Is it a magical effect, or does it apply the reverse gravity to the terrain it's in, and then the dex save would be unmagical?
Let's see. Concentration up 1 minute, 100 foot, 50 foot cylinder. Anything within that space, I guess, has to make the Dex 18 save. So
it reaches the top of the area, so it would float up 50 feet.
Yeah. But it might be a better roll than, a more magical resist sort of problem.
I like this. If an object or creature reaches the top of the area without striking anything, it remains there oscillating slightly.
Just float.
I just picture it as
there.
a video game glitch, like it's just circling around. Like,
Yeah. It's like Lydia's brain.
Yeah, pretty much. Definitely seen some of that jank.
So that's something.
Banishment also has some interesting text in there too. You should have a look at.
Yeah.
Attempt to send
'cause
one
it's
creature
not from our plane of existence, so if it worked, it would just be gone.
If the target is native to the plane of existence you're on, which he isn't, you banish the target to a harmless demi-plane, where there the target is incapacitated.
Yeah, but read the part about if it's not from a plane. It's not from our plane. Because that's what applies to it.
Target is banished with a faint popping noise, returning to its home plane. If the spell ends before 1 minute has passed, the target reappears in the space it left in the nearest unoccupied space. If that space is occupied, otherwise the target doesn't return. So the spell ends and the point of target reappears in the space. So
that's if it ends before the 1 minute. That's if your concentration gets interrupted. So basically, If it doesn't belong to your plane of existence, you can banish him back to his home plane. As long as you don't take damage and get the spell interrupted, it's gone forever. If your concentration gets disrupted during the minute, it comes back. That's what it's trying to say, essentially.
Yeah, and we'll definitely have ads, because why wouldn't we?
We did say it was from the weird plane. Anybody listening who's familiar with the Trask monster, it's probably primarily known as a material plane creature, but in this case it is not. Thus, if it is returned through established knowledge of the creature to its plane and your spell is uninterrupted, then it will be gone forever. And your Nash would be aware of this since you learned the spell and know its ins and outs.
Yeah.
But the question remains is just getting the spell to stick. What level of spell, like how many pulls at the trigger do you have on a spell like this? Well, it's a 9th level. Is it 9th? No.
Yeah, you can run. I can do it at 9th.
Yeah, but
It's like a 4th level
it's a
abjuration.
4th level spell, so you can burn. You have what? 1, 2, 3.
I mean, all the higher levels
5,
give me
6,
are just
7,
additional
8.
creatures within the range get sucked out.
Yeah, what I'm
so-
trying to calculate for you is the number of attempts you have, which is up to 9.
Yeah.
If so you it's not like, because yes, if it's highly magic resistant, I would bank on it possibly failing. It has to succeed on a charisma saving throw. So you may need more than one attempt in order to do so. I would bet that as part of my strategy. But if you manage to actually cast a spell and make it stick, it would be gone. Is there any size restriction on the spell? that we
No,
could,
just the cat.
could
Let's
discuss
see.
too?
One creature, and then at higher levels, 5th and higher, I can target one additional creature for each slot
Yeah,
above 4. So.
Right. So, yeah. So, in theory, if you don't cast any other spells, you've got up to 9 attempts to cast the spell and make it go away.
And if the rest of us are using magic that's making it burn resistances potentially, it's more likely to go off.
Right. So, just to to re-explain the rules on resistances, a lot of boss monsters and high-level dudes have legendary resistances where the DM can just decide, well, I failed it, but it succeeds anyway. And that is usually at a number per day. So often it's between 3 to 5. So I can choose it from any failed thing just to succeed. I don't know if I have to use them up right away. Yeah, I can choose. So it's up to me to choose, but of course, when that creature is going to resist something. But it's not per round, it's per day. So once you burn through the legendary resistances, then you just got to make the spell stick by him not passing us a check. So Banish is actually a super strong option for you in this encounter.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very powerful spell, and considering what you're facing is just one creature, very fortuitous that you don't need multiple instances of it or anything.
Well, I would offer that up as my solution then.
So table talk wise, if we hit it with a bunch of random bullshit that is low level and try to burn the resistances off or somehow lower those resistances, we could then hit with the big boy spell later on.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, you can't just do like the dinkiest spell in the universe. This is a large creature. He'll probably just take, if you do some hit point damage, I can choose to or not. So he might the creature might react in such a way as like, oh, firebolt, congratulations. I will not roll. I will fail that throw.
You
Big
did it.
deal. So like it would have to be
Right.
sufficient. You would have to bait them out with sufficiently strong spells. And so this is where Stanley potentially comes in. He has sufficiently. He may have some sufficiently strong spells that would trigger the resistance and help with Nash not burning his spell slots.
Well, I would be, character-wise, Varel would be building a small map in front of him with sticks and rocks of the surrounding area, and would explain his idea to push the beast or have it pursue us through the Leaden Fingers to the north, and possibly even lose it in the Stormlands, or use the Stormlands to attack it.
Hope's still riding around on the surfboard. Just in
Isn't
the
that-
background while this conversation's going
Oh,
on.
okay.
Just back
Yeah,
and forth, getting
Yeah.
used to it.
Yeah. It's actually quite formidable. With enough speed, you can even do a loop-de-loop and not fall off the board, but it has to be fast enough, though.
She falls off once and then she gets back on in the background.
Sure, yeah. She's playing hard. What spells do you have, Stanley, to help with your strategy?
Who's asking?
Oh, just me. I'm just, like,
Oh.
This is a planning session. There was a little bit of,
Well-
the principal asked what magical spells were there, and there was a bit of silence, and I'm like, you guys should know what your spells do. You have options. So I'm just sort of helping.
At the scale,
that
I'm not
conversation.
sure how effective it's going to be against a Tarask, because it might just be big enough to just go like, no, F your wall. But my new 9th level spell is Prismatic Wall, which is the hell of a thing. I like it a lot. It's kind of a quasi-attack / defensive spell, and basically I can either make a wall or I can make a protective sphere, and if something tries to pass through it, basically it can choose, it has to pass through it, but there are saves at every level as it tries to pass through it, and each one is 10d6 damage and potentially a greater effect as it goes through one by one. And it's either force its way through it and take all the hits, or try and break them through methodically one by one, which takes a turn each go. So that might eat some saving throws as well, or potential saves from the creature as it tries to get through.
Oh my god, that's huge. There's a saving.
It's a ton.
There's a saving throw and considerable damage on the way through. Again, this is a beefy creature, but it's a very good option for sure.
It's 7 individual saves.
Right. So, this creature being as huge as it is, I don't really want to spoil things or promise an outcome of it.
Right.
However,
it might not care about
it's one
10d6 damage, whatever, but there might be a few where it feels the need to succeed.
But it might care about it if you have Varel and Hope and the principal who might be wailing on it in different ways, and conserving hit points may be an important factor, right? Like, it's not the spell in a silo, maybe not, but we don't know what's going to happen in the fight. So 7 saving throws for one spell is definitely good value, and you have other spells, right? It's just 1 9th level spell.
That's one level 9 spell.
So that is a fantastic option.
Not to mention Disintegrate is an extremely high damage spell that is nullified by a save, but that's a strong, do I take an insane amount of damage on my monster, or do I automatically save? So that one's very good for potentially baiting out eating saves, or at the very least doing extremely high damage to it. And I can do that a few times, I think. Maybe only once. No, I think I can do it. I think I can do it a couple times. Got lots of blasted, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm definitely designed more for fighting the principal than fighting a Tarask.
These would be similar tactics to taking in mind, right? Like, boss monsters have bosses and legendary
Well,
monsters.
sure, but I took a lot of things like creating cones of silence so spells couldn't be casted and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I got Dissonant Whispers to stall any advances, force a save there. We've got, healing stuff, Dimension Door to teleport if need be, polymorph options. I mean, if Command could go off, I almost feel like there's a word. Well, no, probably not. I think it would take too long to do. I took this stupid Dream of the Blue Veil spell because I thought we were going to need it to teleport, and then we didn't end up going that route. I'm so sad I have it now. I don't think there's a way to trick it into doing the Dream of the Blue Veil. Because I think it has to be, it has to be a willing creature.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't think Feeble Mind is going to work on it because it's probably already in a place where
you
it's
also
just
have your
going to
polymorphs.
turn it into what it is.
You also have your polymorphs, right?
Yeah, I got lots of those. The Hero's Feast, although I don't think I have any bowls for it anymore. I think I used the last one. But if we can find a bowl before we fight it, it will at least nullify the fear aspect of the creature. Because he mentioned it can cause fear. So we can theoretically undo that aspect if that spell can be cast again.
That's right. That would be what the principal communicated for sure. Sounds like a good plan. Right.
Hex is another one. I can cast that. I think I can only cast that one time, but that can make it have a failure on specific skills if it sticks. In addition to taking more damage every time I deal damage to it.
Okay. Well, as this is good stuff. So, you guys could formulate a strategy, or maybe I'll have the principal respond now and help sort of bring this together, but you could plan something effectively, maybe that way, by burning through the legendary resistances and then giving Nash his opening.
I think that probably sounds like the best way to deal with it.
Yeah, we just don't have a very good way to bait it. We can get all... So it sounds like it would be angry at Stanley, because he's going to be doing all the stuff to it. If you're on the ship... What's your dex? Are you going to be surfing?
I mean, surfing would probably be easy for Stanley. I got vehicle proficiency and extremely high dex. I got a 20 for dex.
Surfing sounds like a horrible idea for Varel. That's going to go very badly.
Well, you may want to do your land and attack business on it.
That could be if there is going to be like a tease out and then have the ship start its attack once the creature's already been engaged, that might be a time where Varel leaves the ship at that point, but he could theoretically start on the ship.
And I mean, if there's room for two on a surfboard, Hope would be happy to take... I mean, Varel might be the best since they're both melee. They'd have to get up close anyway.
They're big boards.
I mean, if anything, I would like to Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator up this Leaden Fingers with some traps and, boulders that'll fall on toes and such, and generally be a nuisance in the canyons to slow him. Because if he's going to be going as fast as a surfboard, you guys are going to need some way to difficult terrain from down here.
It sounds like we're probably going to take at least a little bit of time. I don't think we're going to be launching right into the fight, because it sounds like we got to have Nash deal with some issues. So we may need to have him unlock the power of his heart or whatever. I need to go find a bowl at the very least.
Yeah.
If you guys wanted to create traps and stuff.
Yeah, I'd love to find some choke points throughout the fingers to create some basic snares and trip wires and such. Trip boulders that we could funnel it through.
I don't think the elves will be very willing to work with the principal, so maybe the general would, so maybe we can have access to additional allies to help, but I don't know if they're just going to bring empathy grenades and stuff. Although that might burn resistances, right? Because it would be a resistance to empathy grenades.
Right, but remember, it's choose, so if it doesn't perceive something as a threat, it's not going to choose to save against it, I guess.
Yeah,
so
and empathy grenades we've seen are kind of weak against stronger creatures.
Yeah, they're meant for humanoids, for people with family issues. I don't know if Tarask really has those. For, neurodiversity and personality problems and things like that. I think the Trask, I mean, we'll see how he behaves, but if it's a giant kaiju monster, probably not.
I mean, how much charisma does that creature have? Because my stuff is all about charisma. That spell we talked about, the banishment. How
I
charismatic
mean, I
is
don't think Tarasques are sexy monsters, so. But I could be wrong with 5e.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
So it does sound like we could have a little side preparatory projects to go before we get underway.
Okay, so let me make a list of the side projects here. So Stanley wants to
Get more gem encrusted bowls.
Yep. Well, you scoff, but that's an important part of
It
why you chose your
is.
class.
It's
Target
just one of
pickup
these.
right there.
I gotta go get some stupid bowls, you guys. I'll be at Walmart. You guys will.
Everyone's setting
We sure we
massive
want the
monster
Walmart
traps.
brand gem and
You're like,
crystal
I gotta go
Yeah.
shopping.
I mean, we know where a Walmart is, so maybe they got gem encrusted bowls there.
Go get a bedazzler and bedazzle your own bowls.
Yeah.
All right, gem encrusted bowls for Stanley, and then he wants to feed everyone a hero's feast. Feed everyone. I'm writing this down so.
The night before. That's the plan. We're gonna make the heroes feast the night before we fight.
Mm.
Feed everyone a hero's feast to protect fear, protect against frightened.
You see, then I get the spell slot.
I
back,
see what
and
you
I
did,
can
yeah.
Use it in the combat. That's the plan.
Yeah, it's a good
All right.
plan.
All right, Varel, you want to make a mountain trap?
Yep, and I'd like to investigate the Stormlands and what exactly is Red Skull on the map about them, and if we can use that to our advantage.
Okay.
I would probably if we can pick them up, get the lizard folk involved in making snares and traps and boulders to push on toes.
You want to get your lizard tack team involved?
Yeah,
Okay.
they think it was glorious fighting an even bigger lizard.
I mean, they could participate in the fight too, although,
Yeah.
But yeah, lizard tactical team involved, investigate Stormlands, make a mountain trap. Hope?
Hope will want to practice, because she's assuming now that Varel's going to be on the surfboard with her, so she's going to opt to drive him around and practice driving them around and all of that.
All right, so he's going to need the Fate 6 if he wants the whole tack. You can take Varel around, but you can't take, his 70-something lizards on the surfboard. So he'll need the Fate 6. So maybe you can get some hapless sucker to help instead of what, because you want to practice piloting with two people. I'm taking it, right?
Yes.
So I'm sort of picturing you take somebody who doesn't want to do it and saying like, I'm the queen, you have to do it. They're scared the whole time, and they have to do it. But you can choose your partner, obviously. So if Pharrell is unavailable because he's working, who would it be helping you? Bokbok's available, maybe.
Bokbok's not weight comparable to Varel.
No, but
Maybe
Shit.
Monsoon will give you a hand.
She'll look at the principal and she'll kind of nod at the surfboard.
For a training session. I'll respond in a second. It depends on what Nash wants to do. Nash, what do you want to do?
I mean, what do you mean? Like, where do I want to be?
He may need daddy time for his.
We need
for
to
my
get you
thing? Yeah,
therapy.
I need to find out how to harness whatever it is I've got. In addition to all this other talk, because I don't.
So your dad said he'd help you. Do you want to go with dad, or do you want someone else to
I'll
help?
go with. I mean, who else knows? He's the only one, right?
Don't get too attached to him.
Yeah.
All
That's what
right,
they
so
want.
Hope, the principal might not be available. He would prioritize probably Nash over you for his time.
Okay. She'll put the surfboard back on the ship.
Well, I mean,
then.
Stanley is going to need to learn how to ride one as well. So, I mean, getting a bowl, I don't know if that's going to take the whole time compared to some of the stuff everybody else is doing. So, I will need to learn to ride, and I could certainly help Hope out with that as well.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. So they'll switch back and forth and practice the
Yeah,
surfboard.
maybe you guys
together.
can be a 2-team, and you can go to the Walmart, find the bowl, and then do practice.
Yeah, shopping trip, then surfboards. We can take the surfboards to the Walmart.
Yep.
It's
right
a
to the
date.
Walmart.
And then the big ship will pick up the lizards on the way back home. And it's good.
This is all, man, we've really planned this out efficiently. Like a good day of errands where you're just like, man, I condensed this list into the
As
fewest
long as
trips.
there's no traffic, it's done in an hour.
Yeah.
Great. All right, so you're getting the bull from Walmart. Okay, perfect. And overall, the tentative battle plan is you have some steps. So it's, remember, you got the principal on your side too. So the melee, like who's gonna lead the attack or the bait? Who's bait?
I feel like it should be anybody who's a magical heavy hitter because they can stay pretty ranged. So I would think that like it's threefold. It would be Nash, Stanley, and the principal doing their ranged attacks, and whoever's hitting, whoever's being perceived as the greatest threat is who it'll chase, and we'll kind of try and take turns. If it is as fast as he claims, we may need to do like someone hits it hard and then they spend their turns just racing while other people hit it, to try and get the attention. Kind of pull aggro, to use a term from the solar mines, I hear.
So Nash, Stanley, and Principal on boards, getting its attention.
Yeah.
What about Hope? She's a ranged character. Got some guns.
No, she's got the rapier. The 2 rapiers.
So once the creature is engaged, maybe at that point, the Fate 6 can lower and send in Hope and Varel and start unloading while there's yet another distraction on the field for it to deal with. Again, to borrow more Solar Mines nomenclature, you let the DPS ramp up after the tanks have aggro.
Okay, so Nash, Stanley, Principal on boards, and then Hope is going to be on the ground?
No, she and Varel will be on a board eventually too, right?
Well, I'm Varel, I think, will be part of the trap, yes?
Oh yeah, because we're potentially having them go through the mountains.
So the plan, as I understand it, is to bring the beast to the Stormlands, where Varel will be waiting for a trap, and the environmental, hopefully some environmental advantages in the Stormlands.
All right, so Hope, you ferry Varel through his maze of traps while he and the lizard folk spring them, and then once they're done, you can turn and unleash full fury on them.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay, so Hope will be with you for the kiting. For the
See, the lessons of the solar mine paying off now. This is good.
All right. So Varel, you're going to be up on the board as well? Like everyone's going to be on boards? No one's being placed somewhere?
No, I'll be down on the ground in the leaden fingers, triggering the traps with my lizard brethren.
If it moves fast, though, you'll need a board. Trigger it, board to the next one, trigger the next one, board to the next one.
There are 5 boards, Varel. One is for you.
Yeah, I don't really have the dex to do it very well, though.
That's why Hope's gonna drive you.
Wouldn't kill you to keep one, though. But up to you.
You can lob it like a spear.
Yeah, I could definitely have one with me to join the group or use. Or yeah, I could Mr. Incredible that board into the Tarask.
Right, spin around like a discus, then turn the engine on and just fly with it.
Yeah.
He just looks like one of those sign flipper guys, but he's using it as a weapon the whole time. Just...
Like rather than stand on it, you're clutching it by either side, ramming it like a spear.
But where is the mattress sale?
Okay, great. So this is the plan, and you're going to want to conduct this over the next bit of time. So you relay this information to the principal, and the principal responds and says,
You have grown a lot in your years adventuring. This is a competent plan. I will be with the baiting party, and My one concern is the lack of physical damage in case our magical attacks do not work. That's why I have this bow here. Do we have other melee ranged options? Or not melee ranged, physical ranged options.
Diplomacy.
Yeah, not really our strong suit.
Well, we can procure some ranged weapons. You are dexterous, Stanley. Perhaps an elfin bow of some kind would be good to obtain.
Yeah, I can check while I'm at the Walmart.
I'm not certain Walmart is a place for quality weaponry, but
You've clearly
leave
never
it to
been to
you.
one in Arizona. Let me tell you, it's very different.
that is factual. I have only known one Walmart, the one in the solar mines,
Oh.
and its quality leaves something to be desired, that is certain. Many centuries ago, there used to be Walmarts all across this planet. It is a shrine to an older time.
When the wild Walmarts return, the planet will heal.
That's all the Triosphere does.
Look.
It spawns Walmarts.
It's a neighborhood market.
Commerce returned. Let's build homes and restaurants. A suburb with a little path where we can walk on in evenings.
A return to those peaceful times is a dream I've had for very long, Stanley. Well then, it is now nighttime. We can rest or you can begin your plans right away. As for me, I will stay here and meditate, and Nash and I will try to unlock the innate ability to shapeshift that resides within him. He may have lost his immortality, but he has not lost his malleability in the physical realm. Come, Nash, sit with your legs crossed on the other side of the fire.
I'd go do it. I'd go sit with him. I would hate it, but I'd do it.
Now put your arms out like I am doing, one on either side.
Oh, my lord. Is that necessary? Nash would say.
You must empty your thoughts. You must be one with your flesh. And now begin as I do.
That reminded me of something I probably can't say.
He wants you to hum. He starts. So he's sitting cross-legged and he has his arms on either side. And he's going. His eyes are closed. He's going. He's humming.
Does he have to? So he wants me to hug him?
No, hum.
Oh, hum. Okay, I'll hum. I
Yeah,
hum
like,
with
like
him.
like monk style. And so the rest of the party can see now you're both locked in this meditative.
Yeah, I'm fine. I can do that. That's fine.
Yeah. Can we get a hum?
Yeah.
From
I'd say.
with that level of effort.
Yeah.
No wonder you can't transform.
The half-hearted attempt to be at one with yourself, while the principle seems to be a technological marvel of oneness.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of the party can get up and go begin collecting their affairs. I'm just wondering how much time everyone has for the remainder of the day. We are closing in at the 7 o'clock end of the top of the hour.
Well, I have to pack.
Sounds like if we lock in our plan, then the DM can prepare. So as long as we get
Yeah.
through whatever is needed there.
The idea being, if we lock it up now, then I will recap. I've written it all down. We will recap tomorrow or next week when we start the show. That way, it'll be minimal having to remember.
Yeah.
We'll take care of any business in between if you have to add something to your inventory, and we can just get right started with the hunt.
Yeah, I think that
like-
sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
great.
Hunting the biggest game the known D&D universe has. so we can get right started next week. That's why I just wonder how much time we have to really get into it today. Partially my fault. I was late, listeners, so if your show's a little shorter than usual, the wonderful voice of the principal that I want to bring to you every time it's available was the cause of it. So
Yeah.
it's the price of perfection.
Blame the principal.
Yeah.
He's the
Power
Okay.
of Chrome.
Okay, so with that, Hope and Stanley get up on one of the boards. Hope, you're already super proficient, and Stanley, as soon as you get onto it, you are not yet there, and it is a little concerning. But you've been on adventures before, so you can handle it professionally enough. But she takes off out in the distance, like a 90s cartoon. You just take off, and then when you hit the point of invisibility, a little shine, sort of ping, hit the silvery star shine, hits out where you've left off. Varel, you clamber up on the Fate 6, headed towards the solar mines, where you will pick up your lizard folk. Are there any other? Do you want the goblins? Are there in full force still? There's still plenty of goblins. Do you want to involve Bok in this in any way?
I would want to do a fly over the Leaden Fingers and the Stormlands to see what I'm working with and how many choke points, people I would need. Is there a place for goblins to like run in and out of caves and throw stuff? Or
so recon first, then pick up lizard folk.
Yep.
Or pick up lizard folk, then okay. So you do a bit of recon first. It doesn't take very long for you to fly out there on the Fate 6. It is a large and seemingly endless mountain terrain, and basically where the planet's wound of lava ends is where the mountain range starts. So literally rising out of the lava is this mountain range, and certainly lakes and rivers of lava are moving between the mountain range. Now, as you proceed through the mountain range, you notice that part of it is covered in cloud cover, and there is what seems like a severe lightning storm occurring with a very intense frequency of lightning. In fact, like being in there seems extremely hazardous in that lightning is striking at mountains in various parts constantly. So you bring your ship sort of towards the edge and see an unusual sight for this planet. Torrents of rain and lightning, all concentrated in this one center area of the Leaden Mountains. It is an unnatural thing, this thunderstorm. But the thunderstorm in there is constant.
badass.
Yeah. You can't see very far inside the precipitation and cloud cover, so you only really have the periphery to examine without entering in, which would be dangerous.
Well, if we end up fighting in there, it'll look like a Marvel effects mess, but it'd be
Oh yeah, we're gonna be
very
putting
cool.
the Disney ILM's gonna be working overtime and crunching for no additional pay on the next episode for sure.
The Unreal Cave. Yep.
Well, and maybe so. In addition to my stupid bowl that I need to get, I will try and get. It looks like I'm proficient with crossbows. So at the principal's recommendation, maybe I'll see if I can acquire a nice crossbow from the.
Are you getting a
elves or
Walmart
someone.
crossbow? Or are you gonna?
No,
ask
not
your
a wall.
people?
I'll ask my people for a good
All right.
crossbow.
If you get a Walmart crossbow, add a standard crossbow. If you get one from your people, go look for a +2 crossbow. They can hook you up with a
Okay,
good
yeah,
one.
I'll get a nice crossbow.
Yeah,
But with the chrome arrows that the principal's firing, I mean, we might be turning the Tarask into a lightning rod. Those are sticking into its body.
maybe you'll need bolts for a crossbow, not arrows.
Yeah.
But maybe he can get you some chrome bolts. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe.
But I would need to hear from. That's not an idea Stanley has until he hears about the lightning. So
Yeah. All right.
that'll be after the fact.
Add a +2 crossbow from the Elhendari Magical Arsenal. They previously offered you. We still have weapons for you. Okay. And so for Varel, back to you. Anything you want to do with the Reconnaissance at all, or specifically, I think you want to make a rock trap to bury it inside mountains. You're probably gonna need some explosives, or
Well,
It'll
that's a
still-
good point.
it'll take a lot of work to manually mine out rocks big enough for this hunt.
Yeah, so I'd want to find exact chokes that we could get everyone aware of that we would be setting up at. Explosives sound great, so we can get the goblins involved in creating a rudimentary burying trap. That won't work, but this is all just to slow it down, right? To, give it boulders as marbles in the Fingers Home Alone mission.
Yeah. Okay, so you'll need you'll need at least Bok Bok and some explosives, but might as well bring some other goblins too.
Yeah.
All right, Uncle Sever is not thrilled about it, but you're the highest ranking officer aboard the ship currently, with Stanley not on board, so he's going along with it.
What sort of crossbow bolts would I be able to get for this thing? Is it the just standard, or
I would just get
+1 or
standard
+2? Or
I would just get standard. Your weapon is the
Okay.
plus. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, so then you're gonna ferry back, and your tactical team doesn't require any conversation. However, the goblins may need some explanation. So, are we gonna talk to Bok Bok for a bit about this issue?
I'm down.
Okay. So you've landed the ship, you've gotten your lizard folk up, and there's still a block party going on in the goblin encampment. You make your way through the haphazard hide tents, and you eventually arrive to a mosh pit where King Bok Bok is sitting on a stage in front of people with loudspeakers. It's blasting, boom, 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 boom. There's this loud music, and everyone's like, they're throwing chicken legs at each other, and wiping chicken grease on their face and going, bleh, and just being like crazy ass goblins. And Bok Bok sees you with a piece of chicken wing in his mouth. With his mouth full of food, he goes, "I'm for real!" And the goblins sort of make way and part in very like epic fashion, except they're all still moshing. It's not dignified at all, but a path is parted where he grants you audience before his throne, and you walk up Vorel style to the throne, and he goes, "Vorel, welcome! Great King Bok Bok save Gooby!"
I will give him a bow and say, "Great King Bok Bok, congratulations on your victory in Goblin."
"No need for honeyword! You are friend! You get corrupted treatment. Friend no have to follow rules. Only lamos follow rules."
I see. Well, which rule should I break first?
"Just be Vorel.
Very good.
You want chicken?
Absolutely.
Bring chicken!" And then a wheelbarrow of cooked chickens just come out from the side. It's like there's like two goblins holding a wheelbarrow full of chickens, and then they put the wheelbarrow down, but it falls to the side as wheelbarrows do, and all the chickens get covered in sand. So they just put the chickens back into the wheelbarrow, and they go, "Chicken for Vorel, friend."
Is this a goblin-sized wheelbarrow?
No, it's a regular size. That's why I took two of them, one on each handle, to bring it out.
Okay.
There's like 50 chickens in there. You have no idea
sick.
where the chickens came
Yeah.
from, but it is like, it's the world's biggest wheelbarrow shawarma.
All right. I will pick up like a large basket of chicken and place it next to Bok Bok and
Bakok.
have a seat down.
Bok Bok, it is Bok Cock.
I like Bakok.
And as we enjoy the party for a time, because I want to make sure they have their celebration, I will begin telling Bok Bok of the plan to put Blowy in the mountains.
So he rubs his face, his chicken grease fingers on his face, leaving large marks as he in contemplation. "Look, Vorel, leading Bok Bok people, big learning. Big learning for Bok Bok. Learn Bok Bok like Blowy, but Bok Bok people lazy. Bok Bok have to be angry and hurt goblin friends. No friends no more. To make goblins do. What ask? Very scary. How Bok Bok tell goblins to do scary thing? But Bok Bok will help. We give explosives. I know explosives, no more blowy. Can say explosive. You proud?
Very, Bok Bok. You've come
Good.
a long way.
Me proud you too. Have you make bang bang yet?
Bang bang.
Bok Bok no long time. Never make bang bang. I bang bang 5 times more than you. But I'm just goblin. You are great forel, but no bang bang.
I see. Yes, I have done the bang bang.
Good, good. It make my goblin heart happy. I make training for you now. You teach me common and teach me warriorness. I teach you love.
Perhaps
This
when
is really
we return.
how it should end.
We found the best ending, 100%
We
ending.
unlocked it, everybody.
But before this, I help with last problem. Boogie must be saved. Big Boogie in sky that we live on must be saved. I bring explosives. I bring some goblin, not too many. They fall off ship and we lose. It is good to see you again, and he gives you a big hug from his chair, and the goblins go, ew! They're all grossed out and cringy at the hug. The big chorus, they don't like this open affection, but Bok Bok gives you a big greasy hug, and your scales are now covered in chicken grease.
Sure. I hug back. And I eat chicken over his shoulder if he hugs for too long.
Okay. that happens, and you eat chicken while getting the hug.
Perfect. Sounds like I have my explosives for the mountains.
Yes, you do. And so with that, the interaction resolves itself. There's some celebrating. It's hard to pull them from, but Bok Bok finds people to command eventually. And they start wheelbarrowing explosives into the ship. Only occasionally do the wheelbarrows fall over on their side, dumping out TNT everywhere. But no accidental explosions occur as the TNT, as the Fate 6 is filled to the brim with barrels and barrels and barrels of gunpowder and TNT that they found in the solar mines. If TNT were gold, they've hit the gold rush here in the solar mines. So with the lizard folk, with a small goblin contingent and a ship full of explosives, you're able to return to the Stormlands. I would highly advise not getting hit by any lightning bolts with that much TNT on the ship.
Yes, we want to do it in the canyons here of the Leaden Fingers, leading to the Stormlands, and the Stormlands being our last resort if we are chased that far.
Okay, maybe I can put your face somewhere to mark the spot here. Let me just get your token. I think you should have be able to have control of it in roll 20.
Is this Corvu?
The Corvudican.
The Corvudican. Is that active, alive?
You definitely saw a rocky path opening up at the mountains, and the building is standing there, unaffected by the lava pools. Yes, it's elevated.
Okay,
You
that'd
don't
probably
know
be,
what it is, but
that'd probably be the best path to get it invested in chasing us into the mountains, and then we cut off from there. Let me see if I can do a little line draw. Can you see that line I made?
I do. Yes.
Cool. So I would be looking to basically find the various canyons and natural approaches it could take chasing the ship and the surfboards, and find maybe like 3 locations along here that I could set up some sort of trap, slow it down.
Those are perfect markings. Hang on, all right. So leave those markings there, but just in case they go, I will mark the Varel points. We can pick the one you're stationed at, but very good. And so you'd like to build like explosives. So you find like the natural path going through, and then you put explosives at the top of the mountains to be triggered by, let's say, remote detonation with a detonator. Now, do you want to give the remote, or do you want to give it to Bok Bok or someone else to be responsible for?
Bok Bok being king is not expendable. So if I can do the remote, I don't have any training in it, so I don't know if I would need a rule to press a button, but if I can understand the basics, I'd be happy pressing the button.
Bok Bok show how to make button. And he sort of has this big like contraption. It's all wiry and stuff. It's got big 3 buttons. Button 1, button 2, button 3. We make easy for lizard.
Perfect.
The relationship really changed.
Yeah.
I speak good common now. And he provides you with the detonators for each, or it's all on one like data pad, like a mechanical pad for you, so you can control them or you can delegate it. Great. And
Awesome.
thus, with those set up and that friendship persevering, we zoom out into the wider shot of the lava field, and then slowly we begin to see a hardened gray carapace emerge from the lava. Bloop, 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 bloop. And then we cut to black, directed by Vince Gilligan.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
And that's this week's episode, everyone.
Nice. Nicely done.
Next week we'll find out
Awesome.
how the hunt resolves.
Yeah. And thanks everybody for your patience. Had some COVID and some other stuff get in the way these last couple of weeks. So
Yeah, it's been a rough
thanks for your
couple of
patience.
weeks. So
Yeah.
good to be back.
Weird late summer stuff. Oh, I guess it won't be Saturday. We'll be here because I'll be on vacation. However, we'll be back.
No.
We'll be back soon.
Are we doing Sunday or?
I don't get home till Sunday night at 9, so I don't know what we're doing. Probably missing a week as a result. But and we knew this one was coming, but all this other stuff came and it made it seem like we were barely.
What are you going to do?
recording.
COVID's the thing we've all been scared of. That really puts us back a week. We'd
Yeah.
rather everyone feel better than.
Yeah, everyone should feel better.
That's
The
just how
timing's
this
just
goes.
weird. But we'll get it. We'll make it happen. In the meantime, have you been to the fantastic website known as therewillbedungeons.com? Oh, you haven't? Well, let me tell you why you want to go over there. There's reasons to do it. One thing, for example, is go over there and submit your question for the team when we do our special bonus shows. And you're like, wait, bonus shows? What? What are those? Well, those go to our supporters at the Dungeons Plus supporter program, which you can find at the site, therewillbedungeons.com. Click it and get in. You're in. That's it. For me, for Bo, for John, for Kristen, for Kyle. Is there anyone else? No, that's it. We'll see you next time.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.